This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Oh, hey guys, I didn't see you there. I was just grinding up some weed, cause you know I'm not high enough for this shit. Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live. It's a freaking Wednesday. RB, Sky Comet, Warlord. Love all of you. Who else is here? Somebody else is here. Martin, I love you, Martin. Welcome, Meat Cakes, welcome. Every time I see your name, it makes me hungry. I want some meat cakes. Bring me some meat cakes. What's going on, guys? I will give you a little programming note. I've made the decision I'm going to take this Friday off. No Friday Night Freak Show this Friday. The next Friday will be the 1 year anniversary of the Freak Show. Ironic, isn't it? This iteration of the Freak Show, I've had multiple iterations of the Freak Show, will be the 1 year anniversary of the Twitch streaming YouTube version. And I will be joined by my new temporary co-host, the Media Winch. So get ready for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't decided if the show is going to be like rotating co-hosts and I'm going to have different people. That's a possibility. Maybe I decide on a permanent co-host. I don't know. I mean, if the Media Winch wanted the job, I would give it to her. But I don't know that she can commit to doing every Friday. Media Winch got a lot going on in her life. So I don't know. But she will be here filming the 1 year anniversary special of the Friday Night Freak Show. And what a weird show it's going to be. Should I do a highlight show? Should we do a clip show and play clips from the last year? That would be weird. Maybe I just play the last episode of the Freak Show for Media Winch, who has no clue what went on, and get her to react to it. That could be good content. I don't know. I'm going to come up with something for the 1 year anniversary of the Friday Night Freak Show. Maybe I make amends with Sparkles and Sparkles is here for the 1 year anniversary show. Who knows? You never know what could happen. I kind of doubt that would happen. But it's possible. Nothing is out of the realm of the possibilities, though that one is probably pretty far-fetched. But possible. Here is your meme for the day. I don't know if I might have shown you guys this one before. Get you a cat that knows how to fucking party. Like this kitty right here. And socks sometimes on the weekends. Alright, Socks. He's partied out right now. I have been swamped with my work. Taking this Friday off might actually give me a chance to catch up on work and also just relax a little bit. But hopefully we're going to go short tonight because, once again, I got plenty of fucking work to do. But you never know. We get into it and I get on a roll and I've got 3 pages of notes, so we're going to cover all the election happenings from last night, key election takeaways. Plus, we're gonna focus in on a few different races. Kari Lake has declared victory in Arizona. Mark McCloskey, the guy who pointed a gun at Black Lives Matter protesters, claimed they broke down his fence. He lost his Senate bid. A GOP candidate in Michigan refuses to concede even though he's in fourth place. A weird story about Trump operatives flooding local officials with records requests. Justice Department sues Peter Navarro. I always want to say Dave Navarro. That's the guitarist. Peter Navarro, the former Trump aide. Economic advisor? Is that what that motherfucker was? Trump allies in Georgia are trying to recall the DA that currently has a criminal investigation. Hell yeah, eat that cheese, meat cakes. Is the cat envious? I opened some cheese in the kitchen and one of the roommate's cats came running in. And I was like, oh, she thought I had treats. My roommate was like, no, she likes cheese. And I was like, should I give her cheese? And she's like, no. Like, you said she likes cheese. You can have just a little bit as a treat, right? I give Maynard a little bit of ham as a treat. Motherfucker loves ham. Never met a cat go fucking nuts over ham before. But that's Maynard for you. Tonight, we're going to go in depth into Alex Jones because, wow, what a day. What a day in court Alex had. For those of you who may not be aware, you may not be up on the Alex Jones happening, he's fucked. Alex Jones is fucked. Alex Jones is absolutely fucked. And do you know who fucked Alex Jones? Alex Jones's lawyer fucked Alex Jones. Well, I mean, Alex Jones fucked Alex Jones. Alex Jones been fucked for a long time, but like, in terms of specifically today and in the proceedings over the last few weeks, Alex Jones, yes, I've got a video of a mom who dresses Alex Jones down. We've got the judge admonishing him for not telling the truth. Then we have the coup de grace, what Alex Jones himself described as the Perry Mason moment of the trial. For the prosecution, is it the prosecution? It's not a criminal. Not a criminal case. I don't know if it's the prosecution. The lawyers for the plaintiffs pointed out that they caught Alex Jones up in a lie. Why not get deep in on Alex? I don't. Oh my God. Ew.
Hey, Justin, are you trolling?
Apparently he showed his mouth to the judge and she told him to not do that. He was accused of fake coughing. Wild shit. Here's some wild shit for you. While Biden signs an executive order protecting the right to travel for an abortion in this country, Elizabeth Warren says she wouldn't support a abortion protection bill. Now, I do not know what Warren's gripes are with the bill. It is a bipartisan bill, and I'm always very skeptical when I hear bipartisan bill. So maybe Elizabeth Warren has a really good reason for not supporting a law protecting abortion rights. We're going to talk about the shock that the shockwave that Kansas has sent through the DC Beltway, as they call it. The fucking, I think all of the pundits are like, well, we don't know what the fuck is going to go on in the midterms. Kansas had a record turnout. It resoundingly rejected doing away with abortion rights. Oh, glowed away at Alex Jones. Yeah, Sky Common, I don't know. I don't know why she's not supporting it. Now, as I said, it is a bipartisan bill, so it might be a shitty-ass bill. Hold on. I turned my mic off. I don't cough and sneeze and blow my nose into the mic. Proper microphone etiquette. We'll get into that. The Senate voted today on NATO membership for Sweden and Finland. We're going to talk about the tension with China that Nancy Pelosi caused. I believe she has left Taiwan now. General Petraeus, the ex-CIA chief, is going to tell us about what he thinks China's next moves are. Plus, stonks have rebounded. You never can tell what is going on in this crazy-ass economy that we have going on. Plus, PragerU is going to tell us why it is important to be tough. You little pansy. PragerU going to tell us why we need to be tough. Need to be tough, man. I don't know what's up with me. The housemate tested, made sure she didn't have COVID. She didn't seem to have COVID, though. She was just sneezing a lot. She just, like, to be sure. So, okay. Fair enough. I was like, if there was a chance of you having COVID, it would have been nice if, like, you weren't taking bong rips with me. But, oh well. Oh, a story that I left off. I forgot the billboard that we're going to be covering tonight. As a matter of fact, I guess we'll start off with this. This dude, for some reason, thinks I'm fat. He wanted to brag to me about how he's 49, 5'10", 165 pounds, trains BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, 4 times weekly, as well as cycle and lift. That's you in the upper left corner of your pinned insane video, then you're clearly lying. I'll let you come clean. How fat are you? Do I really look fat, guys? Oh, shit. It wouldn't matter. The reason why he's bringing up my weight is because he was talking about how, like, COVID deaths or, like, all had comorbidities, or most of them had comorbidities. He linked a news article, and I pointed out that the number one thing they listed was influenza. I'm sorry, not influenza, pneumonia. It was pneumonia. It was like the underlying health condition. They didn't even list obesity. It was listed in other causes. I don't like. First of all, I don't like my guys on the chunky side, but man, give me a chunky woman, give me a big old fat woman with a big old fat ass and smother me in some titties. But like, it's just weird because it's weird to me because I've never been called fat in my life. Matter of fact, it's been the opposite. People have like made fun of beanpole. You're gonna blow away. So like, do I look fat? Granted, these pictures are a few years old because, but have I put on 50 pounds during COVID? I don't think so. Have I put on 5? Possibly. 10? It's in the realm of possibilities, but probably not. Pretty much the same size I have been for the last 5-10 years. Something like that. Like, wait, do I look fat? What a fucking idiot. You don't look healthy, that's for sure. Kind of like a Ziploc bag full of water. Oh, goddamn. Right-wingers are morons. But I give him props for a Ziploc bag full of water. That's better than a lot of the things that I've heard. He's probably still trying to argue with me. Oh, no, maybe not. Hacky sack isn't sufficient exercise. You'd drop by Tuesday if you did a ride along with me, and I'm probably 10 to 20 years older than you. I honestly can't get a legit guess at your age for obvious reasons. When trying to refute someone, maybe pick some more flattering pics. What? Are those not flat? Do I not look like a sexy man right there? Come the fuck on, Nuka Gaywell, for Jesus. How is that not flattering? I look like a rock star standing on stage doing one of my sets. Ah, Jesus, these people. I wish you people could feel embarrassment. But I'm proud of, as I've told you guys, I've been doing thumbnails for the YouTube, and tonight's thumbnail just cracked me the fuck up. This is, what's up, Tones? God, what's her name? I don't even know. I'm gonna have to go to the news piece here in order to know her name. But she died today in a car crash. Indiana representative,
We've had some sad breaking news to bring to you.
Jackie Walorski. Jackie Walorski, she was a Republican representative from Indiana, died in a car crash earlier today.
In the last few minutes, House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy announcing the death of Congresswoman Jackie Walorski, Republican from Indiana. In a statement posted to Twitter, Leader McCarthy writing, quote, Dean Swire, Jackie's husband, and was just informed by the Eckhart County Sheriff's Office that Jackie was killed in a car accident this afternoon. She has returned home to be with her Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Please keep her family in your thoughts and prayers. We will have no further comment at this time. Our condolences, of course, are with her family.
I'm sorry, is it wrong of me to make a joke at this time? Seriously, I feel sorry for the family. Anytime someone loses a loved one, it's sad. I'm just doing my troll thing here on the troll show with the troll head. Key takeaways from... Did I not hit the button? Key takeaways from Tuesday's primaries. Democratic and Republican primaries across several states tested voters' views ahead of the crucial United States midterm elections. We're reading from Al Jazeera. Voters in the United States of Kansas, of the U.S. states, of the United States of Kansas, Arizona, Michigan, Missouri, and Washington headed to the polls on Tuesday to vote in primaries ahead of the general elections in November that will determine who controls Congress for the rest of President Joe Biden's term. With both major parties choosing their nominees for major state and federal positions, the vote on Tuesday tested voters' attitudes a year and a half into Biden's White House tenure. A referendum on abortion in Kansas also put the issue to a direct vote for the first time since the U.S. Supreme Court revoked the constitutional right to the procedure in June. Kansas overwhelmingly backed abortion rights. We're going to get into that in more detail here in just a little bit. Trump-endorsed Republicans score big victories. Former President Trump cemented his grip on the Republican Party on Tuesday with his favored candidate scoring big victories across several states. In Michigan, conservative commentator Tudor Dixon, who was supported by Trump, won the Republican nomination for governor. Dixon, who describes herself as pro-God, pro-life, pro-gun, and pro-freedom, will take on incumbent Gretchen Whitmer in November. Current governor had publicly clashed with Trump in 2020 over his administration's response to the coronavirus pandemic. She was also considered a possible choice to be Biden's running mate that year. Trump notched another major win in Michigan on Tuesday. Congressman Peter Meijer, one of 10 Republicans to vote for impeaching Trump after the Capitol riots last year, lost to a primary challenger backed by the former president. But in Washington state, 2 House Republicans who voted to impeach Trump appeared set to survive their primaries. In Arizona, Trump endorsed Kari, who has promoted false claims of election fraud in the 2020 presidential race, has a slim lead in the Republican primary for governor, but she has indeed declared victory. We're gonna come back to that here in just a second. Mark Finchem, another Trump-backed election denier, won the Republican nomination for Secretary of State in Arizona, raising fears that he would oversee the 2024 presidential vote if he wins in the general election in November. AIPAC-backed candidate ousts Jewish progressive lawmaker. This is the sad part of the evening. Andy Levin was defeated by AIPAC Congresswoman Haley Stevens in a redistrict race where both of them were serving. The two Democratic incumbents were pitted against each other in a newly drawn district in Michigan. Levin had support from major progressive figures in the country, including Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, but he faced an onslaught of millions of dollars worth of campaign spending by AIPAC. That is the lobbying arm of Israel. Stevens was also supported by Emily's List, an influential reproductive advocacy group that backs women who stand for abortion rights. Levin had been outspoken in favor of Palestinian rights. Stevens backs unrestricted financial and political support for Israel because, of course she does. AIPAC, which has been pushing to defeat progressives, described the congressman's defeat on Tuesday as a monumental victory. Bull fucking shit. Squad members fend off challengers Rashida Tlaib and Cori Bush. Comfortably fended off primary challengers on Tuesday. Bush, a prominent Black Lives Matter activist, had defeated a veteran Democratic congressman in 2020 in Missouri. On Tuesday, she defeated her main challenger, State Senator Steve Roberts. Roberts had told Jewish Insider last month that anti-Semitism in Israel are among the most important issues at stake in the race. In Michigan, Tlaib similarly defeated primary challenges with relative ease after facing an ad campaign by a pro-Israel group that was founded earlier this year with the main purpose of defeating her. Go a little deeper into some of these races, like Kari Lake in Arizona. This is going to be one of the races to watch this fall. Lake has declared victory as she maintains a lead over Robson. And we want to hear from her. I believe this is this is a local news hit
tonight. That's not stopping Kari Lake from preemptively declaring a
Well, she's the Trump-backed candidate, so of course she
victory
is.
here.
She held a news conference today to thank her supporters and also talk about plans for the general election in November. Jason Berry's live with more on what Lake had to say today.
What up, Jason Berry? I like your shirt.
Yeah, leading up to this election, Kari Lake made a lot of bold statements about election fraud and whether she may or may not trust the results. Well, now she's up by about 11,000 votes. So naturally...
Oh, she wins. She trusts the results.
...legitimate.
We're not going to take our election systems being this messed up.
Kari Lake didn't hold back, speaking to supporters Tuesday night, questioning the election when she was down about 40,000 votes.
I wish that our election
She's not related to Ricky Lake, is she?
officials had their act together, don't we? I wish they could count votes.
On Wednesday, Lake held a news conference outside her campaign headquarters, where she was still talking about election fraud, even though she was now ahead of her opponent, Karen Taylor Robeson.
We outvoted the fraud. We didn't listen to what the fake news had to say. The MAGA movement rose up and voted like their lives depended on it. And it proved that you can't buy an election.
Doesn't look like it.
The Republican frontrunner in the race to be Arizona's next governor has made it a theme of her campaign, talking about election fraud and how the 2020 presidential election was stolen. Lake is
wrong.
She has evidence of voter theft and voter fraud.
She's stupid.
So we asked her to provide it.
I'm not going to release it to the fake news, but we'll release it to the authorities. Why would I release it to them?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Right wingers are morons. Why would I release it to the fake news?
A bunch of people who denied that there was fraud when there was obviously fraud.
Arizona's family reached out to the Maricopa County Recorder's office and was told they have found no evidence of fraud in this election. No other election offices have reported any fraud either. We asked Lake why voters should trust the results of the Republican primary that shows Lake in the lead if she thinks there was fraud going on.
Can you really honestly say that was run well? It wasn't. And so we will work to restore faith and honesty in our elections.
Now, we reached out to Karen Taylor.
Idiot.
Campaign to ask if she would speak or had any comment about the results or the allegations of election fraud. We were told she...
Oh, you think she's slick, do you, Scott Comet? She was a news anchor. She was a news anchor. I'm just telling you, somebody who's worked in the news business, been familiar with news anchors. Not a lot of them have a lot going on up here. Some of them are very bright. Some of them are very on the ball. Others not so much, let me tell you. So take that for what you will. Trying to explain shit to news anchors sometimes is frustrating. Simple shit that you would think they would understand. Some of them are fantastic though, but I think the ones that are fantastic don't last very long. That might be it. Have smart handlers. That's possible. I don't know. I can't make an assessment. I don't know enough about her. I haven't seen enough of her. But from the little bit we watched last night, she seems kind of fucking stupid. You know who is stupid though? Mark McCloskey. I have seen enough of Mark McCloskey to know that he is stupid. If you don't know who Mark McCloskey is, let's pull up the picture here. You'll know the picture. What? Connection is not secure. I don't know what that means. This guy. This is Mark McCloskey. Mark McCloskey, the lawyer who aimed a gun at BLM protesters, loses GOP Senate primary. McCloskey drew national attention in 2020 when he aimed a firearm at Black Lives Matter protesters. He has lost his Republican primary in the Missouri Senate race. The lawyer turned Senate primary candidate had posted a social media video on Tuesday claiming he was the only genuine MAGA candidate in the race and joking about how there were 3 candidates named Eric who were all endorsed by former President Donald Trump. However, McCloskey only gained 3% of the vote in the primary contest, placing 5th in a field of 21 candidates. Meanwhile, in Michigan, a man who participated in the January 6th insurrection refuses to concede in the Michigan primary, despite the fact that he finished a distant 4th. Look at this dumb fuck right here. An insurrectionist Republican gubernatorial candidate is refusing to concede his primary loss despite finishing in 4th place. Ryan Kelly, who was indicted on federal misdemeanor charges for his involvement in the January 6th riot, finished more than 25 points behind the GOP primary winner, Tudor Dixon. But he called for a recount in a post echoing election fraud claims made by Donald Trump. Looks like the testing was not testing after all, and it was a release of their preferred and predetermined outcome, Kelly posted on Facebook, suggesting that tampering with voting machines had cost him the election, not conceding. Let's see, the GOP and the predetermined winner call for a publicly supervised hand recount to uphold election integrity. I guess he was not convicted of a felony. Dixon unofficially won more than 40% of the vote, while Kelly drew a little more than 15% and finished 4th in the 5-way primary. But, like, I'm worried. They're going to great lengths to try to rig our election system. And the insurrectionist or the election denier in Arizona winning the primary is worrying. This is also worrying. Pro-Trump activists swamp election officials with sprawling records requests. Pro-Trump operatives are flooding local officials with public records requests to seek evidence for the former president's false stolen election claims and to gather intelligence on voting machines and voters, adding to the chaos rocking the U.S. election system. The Maricopa County Recorder's Office in Arizona, an election battleground state, has fielded 498 public records requests this year, 130 more than all of last year. Officials in Washoe County, Nevada, have fielded 88 public records requests, 2/3 more than all of 2021. And the number of requests to North Carolina's State Elections Board have already nearly equaled last year's total of 229. The surge of requests is overwhelming staffs that oversee elections in some jurisdictions, fueling baseless voter fraud allegations and raising concerns about the inadvertent release of information that could be used to hack voting systems, according to a dozen election officials interviewed by Reuters. Republican Democratic election officials said they consider some of the requests an abuse of freedom of information laws meant to ensure government transparency. Records requests facing many of the country's 8,800 election offices have become voluminous and daunting since the 2020 election, said Kim Wyman, head of election security at the Federal Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. You still have a group of people in each state that believe the election was stolen. 'Cause they're fucking idiots.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Yes, all of you. Including Peter Navarro. Dave Navarro is a guitarist. Justice Department sues Peter Navarro, not a guitarist. Cannot do some sick licks. Sues Peter Navarro for Trump White House emails. The former trade advisor used a personal account to conduct government business. But his emails. Fuck, give me deja vu. Did not properly log the records with federal agencies, government lawyers said. Justice Department on Wednesday sued former Donald Trump trade advisor Peter Navarro in an effort to force him to turn over emails from his tenure in the White House. Navarro, who worked for the White House during the entirety of Trump's presidency, had used at least one non-official email account to send and receive messages constituting presidential records, according to a Justice Department court filing. Attorneys also accused him of wrongfully retaining them in violation of federal record-keeping laws, as Navarro did not copy the messages into an official government account, nor did he respond to the National Archivist's initial request for the emails. Justice Department approached Navarro about producing the missing emails, but he refused to return records, absent a grant of immunity for the act of returning such documents. He wants immunity for something he is legally required to do. He clearly wants to rat out. He clearly wants to rat out Trump then. Wow. The National Archives first became aware of Navarro's use of a personal email account last year, according to the filing, after the House Select Panel investigating the coronavirus pandemic obtained emails showing Navarro used the Proton Mail account for official White House activities. The civil lawsuit was assigned to U.S. District Court Judge Colleen Collier Cottley, an appointee of former President Bill Clinton. In a separate case from Navarro's indictment for contempt of Congress, which the Justice Department is also handling, the January 6th Select Committee subpoenaed him for documents and testimony in February, but he refused to comply with their summons, prompting the panel to ask the Justice Department to pursue charges against him. Apparently he has not had a trial date set, unfortunately. Meanwhile, in Georgia, Trump allies are trying to recall a DA who has a criminal investigation against him. Donald Trump's allies in Georgia are mounting a campaign to recall Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis over her investigation into then-President's attempts to overturn the results of the 2020 election and are seeking to recruit high-dollar donors to fund it. The organizers of the campaign concede that the obstacles to a successful recall in Georgia are high, making the chances of getting a recall vote on the ballot before Willis makes her decision on whether to indict Trump and his associates remote at best. But a source involved in the effort told Yahoo News that the aim is to use the recall campaign as a way to politically damage the Democratic district attorney, portraying her as a partisan actor who is ignoring soaring crime rates in Atlanta in order to target high-profile Republicans. A side benefit of that game plan, another source familiar with the campaign said, is to potentially influence a jury pool down the road should a case against Trump go to trial. These crooked motherfuckers. These crooked motherfuckers. Somebody else who may be in trouble with the January 6th committee, who I'm very much looking forward to talking about tonight, is a man by the name of Alex Jones. His defamation trial has been quite entertaining, and we're going to watch segments of it tonight. And thanks to his defamation trial, the January 6th panel is set to subpoena him. Not looking too good there, are you, Alex? January 6th Select Committee is reportedly planning to subpoena far-right conspiracy theorist Alex Jones after his texts and emails were revealed Wednesday in a defamation lawsuit filed by the families of the Sandy Hook shooting victims. In a cross-examination in the defamation trial on Wednesday, Sandy Hook victims attorney Mark Bankston told Jones that his lawyer had erroneously sent Bankston 3 years' worth of the conspiracy theorist's emails and text messages copied from his phone, and that piece of footage is so satisfying to watch. I was gonna save it for last, but since they are bringing it up here in this article, let's go ahead and watch it. The moment Alex Jones...
said you didn't.
This is the moment Alex Jones found out that he is absolutely fucked. This is the moment that Alex Jones found out that it was his lawyer that fucked him. Alex Jones is fucked civilly and looks like criminally. If they decide to bring perjury charges against him, they have concrete evidence.
So you did get my text messages and said you didn't. Nice trick.
Yes, Mr. Jones. Oh. Indeed. You didn't give this text message to me. You don't know where this came from. Do you know where I got this?
No.
Mr. Jones, did you know that 12 days ago, your attorneys messed up and sent me an entire digital copy of your entire cell phone with every text message you've sent for the past 2 years, and when informed, did not take any steps to identify it as privileged or protect it in any way. And as of 2 days ago, it fell free and clear into my possession. And that is how I know you lied to me when you said you didn't have text messages about Sandy Hook. Did you know that?
I told you the truth. This is your Perry Mason moment. I gave them my phone And then,
Mr. Jones, you need to answer the question.
No,
Did you know this happened?
no, I didn't know this happened. But I mean, I told you I gave him the phone over.
Just
And
answer the question.
You said in your deposition, you searched your phone. You said you pulled down the text, did the search function for Sandy Hook. That's what you said, Mr. Jones, correct?
And I had several different phones with this number, but I did, yeah. Well, of course. I mean, that's why you got it.
No, Mr. Jones, that's not why I have.
My lawyer sent it to you, but I'm hiding it. Okay.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones,
please just answer questions. There's no question. Mr. Bengtson.
He's trying to dance around the fact that he said he searched for text messages related to Sandy Hook and said he found nothing, but they have now obtained his phone records thanks to his lawyer fucking up and sending them to the family's counsel. They have his entire phone, and that is what the January 6th committee wants to see. His phone records from the last 2 years, because if you will remember, he was at January 6th. He held a rally the night before.
Also, only ask questions.
Sure. Mr. Jones, in discovery, you were asked, do you have Sandy Hook text messages on your phone? And you said no, correct? You said that under oath, Mr. Jones, didn't you?
I mean, if I was mistaken, I was mistaken, but you got the messages right there.
You know what perjury is, right? I just want to make sure you know before we go any further. You know what it is.
Yes, I do. I mean, I'm not a tech guy. I told you I gave in my testimony the phone to the lawyers before or whatever, and so you got my phone, but we didn't give it to you.
No, Mr. Jones. One more time. And please remember, if you need to assert the Fifth Amendment, you can. I need to know that you can do that. But you testified.
Oh man, that face is priceless. If you need to assert your Fifth Amendment, you can. I need you to know you can do that. This is quite possibly the best piece of footage I have seen. Possibly the best piece of footage we've ever played on this show. We played a hell of a lot of footage. My God, do I love this. I want to watch it again and again.
So you did get my text messages. And it said you didn't. Nice trick.
Yes, Mr. Jones. Oh. Indeed. You didn't give this text message.
I love that the lawyer is laughing about it.
No.
What is up, sitting cow? Welcome.
Did you know that 12 days ago, your attorneys messed up and sent me an entire digital copy of your entire cell phone with every text message you've sent for the past 2 years?
I mean, we gave you my cell phone. I don't know. They're saying I didn't give you my cell phone. You have my cell phone, so I don't know what your issue is.
In my possession. And that is how I know you lied to me when you said you didn't have text messages about Sandy Hook. Did you know that?
I told you the truth. This is your Perry Mason moment. I gave them my phone, and then
Mr. Jones, you need to answer the question.
No,
Did you know this happened?
No, I didn't know this happened. But I mean, I told you I gave them the phone.
Mox.
You said in your deposition.
That's a great point. The man made over $150 million in his career, and he hired a lawyer that malpractices. Oh my God.
You searched your phone. You said you pulled down the text, did the search function for Sandy Hook. That's what you said, Mr. Jones, correct?
And I had several different phones with this number, but I did, yeah.
He does not look well there.
No, Mr. Jones, that's not why I
that's sitting cow. That's a good point. That's a good point. Well, I don't know. Like, if you are rich, you can find a good lawyer. But like, they know you're guilty and everything, and like it's gonna cost you a shit ton of money. And I can't guarantee you anything because you're guilty as fuck, but I'll provide you the best. But this is like a very small percentage of people, Alex Jones clearly did not spend his brain fuel money well. So he does not have the best attorneys money can buy.
Mr. Jones, just answer.
O.J. Simpson had the best attorneys money could buy. O.J. Simpson had the best attorneys money could buy, and that's what happens. That was a really bad case, and they still fucking won.
Questions. There's no question. Mr. Bengtson also only asked questions.
Sure. Mr. Jones, in discovery, you were asked, do you have Sandy Hook text messages on your phone? And you said no, correct? You said that under oath, Mr. Jones, didn't you?
I mean, if I was mistaken, I was mistaken, but you got the messages right there.
You know what perjury is, right? I just want to make sure you know.
You know what perjury is, right? Oh, man, that face.
I mean, I'm not a tech guy. I told you, I gave in my testimony. Yes, I did.
That face. Oh, my God. He is so worried.
I just want to make sure you know.
I love this. I love this. Damn.
Before we go any further, you know what it is.
Yes, I do. I mean, I'm not a tech guy. I told you, I gave in my testimony the phone to the lawyers before or whatever, and so you got my phone, but we didn't give it to you.
No, Mr. Jones. One more time. And please remember, if you need to assert the Fifth Amendment, you can. I need to know that you can do that.
Oh, and then that face, the look of bewilderment when he says, if you need to assert your Fifth Amendment, you can. So that's what we're talking about. This is criminal now. We are in the realm of criminal charges. He has perjured himself. If you are listening to the podcast version, the audio only version of this show right now, I highly, highly, highly recommend seeking out this video and watching Alex Jones's face. It is absolutely worth it. That screen grab right there. The judge. Did I leave it off? Well, this is where he was coughing, and the judge admonishes him.
Okay. You've been on your show most of last week, pretty much every day last week?
I did an hour here. I taped some as well.
Okay. And you've been screaming and yelling on your show, right?
Yes, just like the media's been doing that.
Okay. Haven't been coughing on your show, have you? All these coughs in court, they don't happen on the full hour of your show. You don't ever cough, right?
I mean, I've got cough drops right here in my pocket. I've got laryngitis and a torn larynx. I mean, it comes and goes. It starts burning.
To be fair, there's a button I can turn off when I want to cough. You know. To be fair, we've got that little trick in broadcasting.
And then it's uncontrollable. And I have actually been coughing a lot on air. If you guys have been watching my show, we'll have a cough button I can step on and cough. There's a button I step on, and I've been hacking and coughing. It's 100% real.
Sure. Okay. You've been on your show?
Look, this isn't the one where he gets admonished by the judge. I think he gets admonished by the judge this time, but like this is not the clip I wanted.
I've been told that it goes on, and he says that he's sorry, and we'd ask that the entire party.
Spit your gum out, Mr. Jones.
It's not gum.
Well, what is it? Because you're not allowed food or gum of any
I had my tooth pulled a week and a half ago, and I had some gauze in there earlier, and it's been causing me to have some pain.
So you're chewing on your gauze?
Would you like me to show you?
No, I just want you to answer my question.
No, I was massaging the hole in my mouth with my tongue. Actually, right here.
I don't want to see
All right.
the inside of your mouth.
Oh, no, there's no gum. Hole.
Sit down.
No gum. Hole. I was just massaging the hole in my mouth with my tongue.
My God. Maybe I should have watched the whole goddamn thing. So he had previously called the judge a liar.
So she can have a show trial and tell the jurors, 8 times I've seen her, this man's guilty. So all of your rights to due process and trial by jury is being destroyed here in Austin, Texas. Austin is the second most famous city in America for judicial fraud. D.C. and Austin, where the Democratic Party have fully weaponized the judiciary to persecute people, just like Rick Perry, who they indicted for vetoing a bill. They indicted him, or Tom DeLay. They've done this over and over again, and she hopes the jury doesn't learn what she's done. She even tried to sign a document saying we couldn't mention the First Amendment or say we're innocent. All I did was speculate and ask questions. I have a right to do that. It has been the lawyers, the Democratic Party, and the whole Sandy Hook anti-gun crew that has attached themselves to me for years.
Seriously.
She found me guilty. She lied and said...
No, some random dude on Twitter. They were having a smoke break outside of the courtroom, and he's just talking to him. They had a whole argument, and he's recording the whole time as Alex is smoking a cigarette. Like, it's absurd. Yeah, dude, you don't need to be opening your mouth right now, you stupid fuck. But hey, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Please. Please keep doing it. I should have watched the whole fucking trial, goddamn. Let's watch the mom confronting Alex Jones. She gets to dress him down. Thankfully, awesome for her.
Your son, Jesse Lewis. How does it make you feel being able to come in today and tell him, to his face, your story?
I wanted to tell you to your face because I wanted you to know that I am a mother first and foremost, and I know that you're a father. And my son existed. You're still on your show today trying to say that I'm implying that I'm an actress, that I'm deep state. You have this week. And I don't understand. Truth is so vital to our world. Truth is what we base our reality on. And we have to agree on that to have a civil society. Sandy Hook is a hard truth. Hard truth. Nobody would want to ever believe that 26 kids could be murdered. Nobody would ever want to believe that. I understand people not wanting to believe that, actually. I don't want to believe it. But I've, since that day, dedicated my life to keeping kids safe. It's our responsibility. I used to think it was the school's responsibility. It's actually our responsibility. And I've dedicated my life to that. And having a quarter of Americans doubt that Sandy Hook happened or doubt the facts around Sandy Hook is not conducive to keeping our kids safe. It's not. And it's our responsibility to keep our kids safe. This happened almost 10 years ago. We've had over 350 school shootings since then. We have
Yes. Yes.
I am a real mom.
Yes. Remember what I always say. Remember, kids, shoot up drugs, not schools. Here we go. Here's the clip that I'd been looking for. The judge scolds Alex Jones. This is not your show.
Mr. Jones, you may not say to this jury that you complied with discovery. That is not true. You may not say it again. You may not tell this jury that you are bankrupt. That is also not true. You may have filed for bankruptcy. I don't know that, but I've heard that. That doesn't make a person or a company bankrupt. You're already under oath to tell the truth. You've already violated that oath twice today in just those two examples. It seems absurd to instruct you again that you must tell the truth while you testify. Yet here I am. You must tell the truth while you testify. This is not your show. You need to slow down and not take what you see as opportunities to further the message you're wanting to further. And instead, only answer the specific and exact question you have been asked. No asides. The comments about discovery, the comments about the larynx or whatever it was, the comments about bankruptcy, none of those were responsive to questions. They were just you abusing.
The comments about the gay frogs. Turn the freaking frogs gay.
My tolerance and making asides to the jury improperly and in at least two cases, untruthfully. Do you understand what I have said? Yes or no? Do you understand what I have said?
Yes, I believe what I said was true. So I don't.
Yes, you believe everything you say is true, but it isn't. Your beliefs do not make something true. That is what we're doing here. Just because you claim to think something is true does not make it true. It does not protect you. It is not allowed. You are
got a gay frog in my larynx.
Actually be true when you say them. Don't talk.
Don't talk.
You understand what I have said.
I do understand.
You understand the instructions I have given you for your testimony in court.
Yes.
Yes, yes. It makes it even more sweet. Even sweeter that it is a woman who is presiding over this case. I really dig her too. God damn, Alex. You're fucked, dude. You're fucked. Look at that face. I love that it is a woman presiding over this case, and I'm sure that he is absolutely hating that, because he is indeed a misogynistic piece of shit. You deserve every bit of this. Matter of fact, you deserve far more than this. This is long overdue. You're going to die poor and miserable, as you should. Possibly in jail, motherfucker. So enjoy it. Enjoy your last days of having relevance at anything. The rest of your life is going to be a struggle, and you deserve it. You deserve, and I hope it is long and it is arduous. I hope you're like fucking. Was it Sisyphus carrying the fucking boulder up the fucking hill? I hope that is the rest of your fucking life, dude. I'm not sure if I got my Greek reference correct. Somebody fact check me on that one. Man, that was so satisfying. And the January 6th committee is now reportedly preparing to request those records from attorneys representing Sandy Hook victims. I'm so sorry. Anybody that is not subscribed, I did not catch the commercial break. We were in the middle of Alex Jones, and I'm sorry if the commercials played during Alex Jones. Motherfucker. Sisyphus. Hell yeah. The January 6th committee declined to provide comment to TPM. Jones has emerged as a recurring figure in the January 6th Select Committee's investigation for his role in garnering public support for the attack on the Capitol, as well as his close ties to Stuart Rhodes, leader of the far-right Oath Keepers. Rhodes frequently appeared on Jones' InfoWars channel, and a series of texts among members of the Oath Keepers revealed in court documents showed discussions of providing security for Jones and other allies of former President Trump. Jones was initially subpoenaed by the January 6th Select Committee in November. The panel requested Jones to turn over documents and participate in a deposition. A letter by the committee noted that the Trump White House told Jones on January 3rd to lead a march to the Capitol where President Trump would meet with protesters. Oh man, I don't think the January 6th committee would have Alex Jones. They would be afraid that it would be a spectacle, and they don't want that. Like they wouldn't want. They wanted him to sit for a deposition, so that they could use segments of his deposition the way they have. But I don't think they would let him have like a live microphone on national TV. No, not a chance in hell. And who knows what the fuck he would say if he had that. He would take that opportunity. Man, would it be awesome if we could watch that, but that's never going to happen. It is currently unclear what the committee's specific interests are in Jones's communications, Rolling Stone reported. Lawyers for the Sandy Hook plaintiffs, however, have alleged that Jones deliberately withheld relevant communications about the false claims he spread about the tragedy and lied about having conducted a search for the records. Alex Jones is fucked. Alex Jones is fucked. Couldn't have happened to a shittier guy. So tonight, I'm trying to be upbeat tonight. I'm trying to. I've been doomer fucking news the last few nights, telling you about how shitty monkeypox is, COVID making a roaring comeback. We played the dude from the UN. It's like we are on the brink of total annihilation. We've been seeing the effects of climate change firsthand. But tonight I'm trying to be more on the positive side. I know. She safely has left Taiwan. China was all bluster. Didn't actually want to pull some shit. Come on, China. Which I mean, like, it would have been World War III if they had done that shit. And I guess Biden knew, but we're not talking about that yet. Unless you want to talk about it. Do you want to talk about that? Let's talk about that. I mean, why the fuck not? We're on the subject. Let's do it. We're looking at rising tensions following Pelosi's visit to Taiwan.
Controversial and perhaps consequential visits to Taiwan in decades. The Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, has now left the self-governing island, but the fallout remains to be.
We don't really get a lot of Xi Jinping memes, and like that would be like the one upside to war with China, so we get a hell of a lot more Xi Jinping. Buy stock in Xi Jinping memes. Where's the Jim Cramer meme where he's telling you to buy stock in different memes? Xi Jinping, Winnie the Pooh memes are gonna go through the fucking roof. Justin Freakin calls it August 13th, 2022. Mark it down on your calendars. Xi Jinping memes going through the roof. Buy.
Be seen. Nick Schifrin looks at her trip and what comes next.
Ladies and gentlemen,
in Taipei's presidential office building today, the second in line to the U.S. presidency received Taiwan's highest civilian honor, and presented U.S. support as part of a global struggle.
Today, the world faces a choice between democracy and autocracy. America's determination to preserve democracy here in Taiwan and around the world remains ironclad.
Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi's trip lasted 19 hours. She led a congressional delegation to meet President Tsai Ing-wen.
Thank you so much for your presence.
Taiwanese lawmakers in a speech broadcast on local TV, and visited the National Human Rights Museum, which acknowledges Taiwan's past history of martial law. Pelosi also met with famous pro-democracy advocates who've been jailed by Beijing and who helped lead the 1989 Tiananmen Square protests.
Chinese police abruptly halted a Tiananmen Square ceremony by 3 members of the U.S. Congress today.
Her trip culminates more than 3 decades of criticizing Chinese human rights from Tiananmen Square.
The massacre was shocking to us as was to everyone in the world.
Look at that young Nancy.
Tibet has challenged the conscience of the world.
And Xinjiang.
This genocide must end now.
But China considers Taiwan a breakaway province, and Pelosi's trip a threat to its sovereignty.
What Pelosi has done is by no means a defense of democracy, but a violation of China's territorial integrity. The relevant measures will be strong.
Those measures so far, Chinese naval drills in the Taiwan Strait. And today, fighter jets cross the median line that splits the strait, which is just 80 miles wide at its most narrow. Beijing vows now to hold military...
RB, I need to keep a bucket of cold water next to me so I can throw on RB over here.
You live in sexual anarchy?
I mean, go look up her beach pictures. You may reconsider being with her now.
Military exercises in 6 areas around the island, including inside territorial Taiwan.
Bonk, bonk, bonk.
Largest drills since 1995. Taiwan calls that reckless.
China's announcement on its drills is equal to sea and air blockades. It has severely infringed our country's territorial sovereignty.
And to discuss Speaker Pelosi's trip, I'm joined by Bonnie Glaser, Director of the Asia Program at the German Marshall Fund, a think tank, and Yun Sun, Director of the...
I am not pulling up a picture of Nancy Pelosi in a bathing suit for you guys. No, that's not happening.
Program at the Stimson Center.
Stop being horny.
Policy Institute here in Washington, D.C. Welcome to both of you to the NewsHour. Bonnie Glaser, let me start with you. Should Speaker Pelosi have gone to Taiwan?
Well, I think that Speaker Pelosi should have gone to Taiwan at another time. I really do think that it's the timing of this visit that makes...
But if you haven't seen it, she got some big old mommy knockers.
The Chinese certainly viewed the timing of the visit, I think, as provocative. The problem is this is in the run-up to the 20th Party Congress. It's right a day or two after the PLA anniversary and the leadership meetings that are coming up in Beidaihe that take place every summer. And I think that there was pressure on Xi Jinping to demonstrate a very strong resolve to warn the United States and Taiwan to not go further down the path of threat.
And no, yeah, see, this is the thing. This is the reason why I didn't want to do like this. Got all off topic. We're talking about an incredibly serious topic. And then we boiled a woman who, like, we don't like Nancy Pelosi, but the reasons we don't like Nancy Pelosi are substantive. To boil Nancy Pelosi down to her looks in a bikini is wrong. To one of the most powerful women in the world. Unfortunately. And clearly, like, Nancy used to be, you know, more progressive, or I guess just like seemed more progressive based upon the time. Ah, God. I'm not the horny one here. I'm not the horny one. I'm trying. I couldn't help myself but make jokes about Nancy's. And, like, that was wrong of me. That was just as exploitive of somebody wanting to jack off to her boobs. But I couldn't help myself to make the jokes. Justin is part of the problem. But Justin tries to, like, you know, correct himself in real time and be like, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. Like, you know, this was what was wrong with what I did. And we can talk through it and work through, you know, growing. Justin is part of the problem. And I was really wanting to listen to this story. This is from PBS NewsHour.
Blockades. It has severely infringed our country's territorial sovereignty.
And to discuss Speaker Pelosi's trip, I'm joined by Bonnie Glaser, director of the Asia program at the German Marshall Fund, a think tank, and Yun Sun, director of the China program at the Stimson Center, a foreign policy institute here in Washington, D.C. Welcome to both of you to the NewsHour. Bonnie Glaser, let me start with you. Should Speaker Pelosi have gone to Taiwan?
Well, I think that Speaker Pelosi should have gone to Taiwan at another time. I really do think that it's the timing of this visit that makes it particularly sensitive, dangerous even. The Chinese certainly viewed the timing of the visit, I think, as provocative. The problem is this is in the run-up to the 20th Party Congress. It's right a day or two after the PLA anniversary and the leadership meetings that are coming up in Beidaihe that take place every summer. And I think that there was pressure on Xi Jinping to demonstrate a very strong resolve to warn the United States and Taiwan to not go further down the path of threatening Chinese interests.
Yun Sun, do you agree that the upcoming Party Congress later this year almost forces Xi Jinping to escalate?
Well, I feel that the argument can be made from both ways. That the fact that the Party Congress is coming up could be a factor that put pressure on Xi Jinping to act. But at the same time, you could also argue that because Party Congress is so close, it's only 3 months later, Xi Jinping's top priority is domestic and his priority is stability. And therefore, he's not going to take forceful act in terms of the military response. So I feel that this Party Congress is really a factor that could be argued on both sides.
Bonnie Glaser, why does Beijing so upset about this trip?
And Mox, I think your theory makes sense as well.
What President Biden has been saying, you referred to U.S. policy. He has referred in the last year 3 times to the...
Everything is downstream. Like NVIDIA doesn't produce in Taiwan, but yeah, Taiwan makes their chips. Everything is downstream from Taiwan because they make the microprocessors. And they don't allow anything but the current gen chips are manufactured elsewhere. The next gen chips are only manufactured in Taiwan. Apparently it's really expensive equipment, right? To be able to fabricate and you got to keep inventing new equipment to make the smaller and smaller microprocessors.
The possibility that the U.S. would support Taiwan militarily?
Well, actually, I think that the president has the prerogative to say that he would come to Taiwan's defense, and he believes that that would strengthen deterrence. And yes, he has said that 3 times. What is more problematic from my perspective is that the president has repeatedly said we have a commitment to do so. He is, of course, referring to the Taiwan Relations Act from 1979, which does have some obligations that the United States has, particularly supplying weapons to Taiwan. But the United States, since 1979, when we broke our mutual defense treaty with Taiwan, does not have a commitment to come to Taiwan's defense. So I think that in particular has been confusing and probably in China has been interpreted with some concern.
Yun Sun, what has not been confusing this week is Beijing's anger and some of the live fire drills and some of the training exercises that Beijing has launched just in the last few days in response to Speaker Pelosi's visit. But do you believe, or do you see those as particularly aggressive?
Actually, no. Actually, I see Beijing's response has been underwhelming, especially if you put it in the context of what the Chinese threat had been before the Pelosi visit to Taiwan. The Chinese
they threatened to shoot her down.
Threatened missile exercises. They threatened a 4th Taiwan Strait crisis if Speaker of the House Pelosi was going to visit Taiwan. But we also know that none of those particularly provocative or aggressive military actions were taken before she landed in Taiwan. Now that she is gone, she is out of Taiwan, and the Chinese are putting on live fire military exercises, They're also announcing sanctions on Taiwanese products. They also announced the ban of export of natural sand to Taiwan. So which means to me that the Chinese reaction to the Pelosi visit has been primarily focused on punishing Taiwan rather than reacting to the United States.
Bonnie Glaser, has the response been underwhelming, as Yoon-sun just said?
Well, I do disagree, particularly if you look at the declared closure zones, which is where China is going to fire missiles. They are very close to Taiwan, and in some cases they overlap with Taiwan's territorial sea and airspace. That's within 12 nautical miles of the island. So we will find out when these live missile exercises begin, which is on Thursday.
So should we trust the Chinese woman because she is in closer proximity to what's going on, or should we assume that she's being softer on China, possibly?
But it looks like the Chinese plan to fire missiles in Taiwan's airspace and perhaps actually fly aircraft in that airspace. The tabloid Global Times, which not authoritative, but sometimes is correct, has said that China will fly its aircraft over Taiwan. Any of those things would be extremely provocative. And what I'd like to highlight is that these closure zones are close to Taiwan's ports. They are close to its international airport. This is very clearly a signal of capability to blockade Taiwan. So that is dangerous and provocative and escalatory.
Yoon-sun, how dangerous are they?
She makes a point.
Out of hand because the Chinese, in fact, are trying to gauge how Taiwan is going to react to these series of military activities planned by China, and whether, more importantly for the Chinese, whether the United States will come to Taiwan's support or Taiwan's rescue in terms of the Chinese planned military exercises.
And quickly, Bonnie Glaser, the longer term.
They're both correct.
Of Speaker Pelosi's trip, not only
both were informative,
but also here, tracking the Senate Foreign Relations Committee considering the Taiwan Policy Act, which would dramatically increase U.S. military support to Taiwan.
Yes, I think there is bipartisan support in Congress for increasing military support, perhaps providing foreign military financing for Taiwan, so actual resources, and selling more offensive weapons going forward, maybe even designating Taiwan as a non-NATO ally. All of those provisions are in the Taiwan Policy Act. We do not know whether it will pass, but it is indicative of the growing sense of urgency in the United States, in Congress. Also, I believe in the executive branch that the United States has to do more to help Taiwan defend itself.
Yoon-sun, quickly, just in the time we have, growing sense of urgency in a bipartisan way in Washington.
I think that
would make sense, RB.
As well, that they understand that U.S. support for Taiwan is only going to become stronger as time passes by. But the question for Beijing is that should they take actions now, if they know that the future is only going to be more difficult for China to achieve its unification agenda? And there is a voice asking for it. But the counter-argument is that, well, if China takes action now, can China really succeed? And I think that's where the Chinese military becomes more reluctant to provide a straight answer. So yes, indeed, the situation is extremely dangerous. And when we look down the road, it probably will get even more tense as these interactions continue.
Yoon-sun, Bonnie Glaser, thanks very much to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Both of them were very informative. The PBS can be good, and we're going to go to a less informative U.S. perspective from General David Petraeus.
Now, you
former
say
head
there
of the
will
CIA.
be repercussions for Pelosi's visit. We're already seeing a blockade of sorts around Taiwan. What do you think we'll see?
Well, I don't think that President Xi, at the end of the day, really wants
Oh,
to...
no. Oh, no.
Here. His words seem to indicate that he's not out to pick a fight in response to this action that has taken place, which has been awkward to say the least, particularly in Washington, where you have the president, the national security, military reportedly discouraging this, the speaker going ahead, others saying it's the speaker's right, and it is. But again, the timing of this is very difficult in particular because President Xi, let's remember, he is in election season as well. He's 3 months away from the gathering of the Chinese Communist Party, which will presumably re-elect him for an unprecedented third term as party leader. That will be followed by his re-election as the president and the head of the military commission. He wanted a smooth path to this. This particular trip at this time and in this way really does force him to be an ultra-nationalist. He has to show that he's tougher than all the rest, so you will see these live fire exercises all around the island of Taiwan. You'll see aircraft back into the airspace and so forth. All of this, I think, we will see, and I would suspect this may play out over some time as well. This will not just be, you know, a spasm of activity right now. There could be further repercussions down the line. There are also some economic sanctions that have been imposed on Taiwan as a result of this as well. So this will take some time to play out. I don't see
like pocket sand. No more pocket sand.
His or China's
around Taiwan.
We clearly have positioned our forces and our capabilities so that we can do what is necessary if it comes to that.
That is the U.S. perspective. The military-industrial complex, if you will. Straight from Petraeus's mouth. I don't like, so the idea of a pump and dump, the chip shortage, I don't know exactly what's going on because stonks have rebounded. Stonks rebounded.
Investors cheering on strong economic data after more companies release better than expected earnings. CNBC NASDAQ reporter.
Strong economic data. This comes after just like there was a deluge of headlines. Fired fucking thousands of employees, fired thousands of employees. Strong economic data. What is going on right now, guys? I have no fucking clue. I don't think they have any clue. They've been yelling about a recession. They've been yelling about an inflation. Strong economic data, though, now. What?
Christina Partsenevelos joins us now to break it all down. Christina, what's the latest with the markets?
Well, we're seeing stocks across the board just, higher, and that's led by beaten down tech names. You mentioned economic data. We got the July PMI data, so that just looks at the non-manufacturing and service pretty much index, and so that came out higher.
It's the CERN.
For June, those statistics came out higher than expected. So you have those two economic data points.
You might be right, Mox.
That was on CNBC early this morning saying he doesn't think we're in a recession. So there's been a lot of movement, plus stronger earnings that are coming out, stronger than expected, I should say. So that's helping the markets. There's two names I want to focus on. CVS. CVS did see its shares climb about 6% right now, and that was helped by over-the-counter COVID-19 tests as well as an upbeat performance for its insurance unit. And then lastly, you got Match Group. Match Group is doing really poorly right now. It's down, over 13% lower. And this is because they're saying that they're having trouble getting new users to use all of their dating apps. And they also just said that the CEO of Tinder left. So lots of big movers there. A lot of it has to do with strong earnings reports.
For sure.
We do have Mandy. By the way, welcome, Mandy. We do have these possible solar storms that could disrupt electrical grids and shit. I didn't put it on the list for tonight, but like that's a thing that is indeed going on. God damn! I didn't want to be doom and gloom tonight. I didn't want to be doom and gloom tonight. I wanted to do good news. I wanted to talk about how the stock market's doing great. I wanted to. God, that Mandy, you missed the Alex Jones portion of this show, and that was the best. That might have been one of the best segments I've ever done. Just because Alex Jones was so entertaining. Or watching the judge and the lawyer's own Alex Jones was so entertaining.
With tests. And I wanted to ask you also about crypto. I hear there's more bad news in that world. So what's going on?
Crypto.
Yeah, it seems to be that there was another Solana wallets. There was another cryptocurrency hack.
To the moon.
This month, and we're only Wednesday right now, so this is a major issue, showing that there are some discrepancies and that you can steal from wallets. And the other major point too is Robinhood. Robinhood announced that they would be cutting and letting go of 23% of their staff. This is after they let go of 9% of their staff back in April. They say it had to do with inflation and the markets and just the economy growing weaker, but you also have to think, if you held crypto about 6 months ago and then today you're most definitely seeing a drop, and a lot of that is affecting some of these trading platforms. And
so it has been like all these tech companies, they're the ones that have been laying off all the fucking people. And to me, I think that's just a sign of how overinflated the tech market was. But if they can lay off all those people and they can contract and the rest of the market is up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, where are you going, buddy? I kind of winced when he put his paws up here because he had his claws out. Come on, Smokes. Come on, buddy. Okay, I got him. Here he comes. Here he comes. There's a Smokey. There's a Smokey. Say hi, everybody. Why you got your head down? Say hi, everybody. Smokey be free? No, Smokey was free for 8 days. And since then, he's been like up my ass. I think he really missed me. Which makes no sense because, like, why wouldn't he then come to me? Hey, Smokey, do you want to go see Loki? Sweet baby. Ow, he's clawing my knee. I got a Socks over here too, but Socks gonna go get him something to eat. Maynard is not. Maynard has made himself more at home in another part of the house. Smokey don't have no goddamn Stockholm syndrome. Oh, by the way. If you haven't seen it, I'll show you the picture of Smokey so he never would come to me. So we had to use a trap to get him. And this was the picture of him in the trap. He was not happy about it because, like, he goes outside, he turns into a wild man or something. He's a caged animal. Man, was I so happy to have him back. I did free him. You just saw him. He was up on my lap. He was loving on me. What are you talking about? Just moments ago we did the... Yeah, he was like... He was very... I don't know how long he was in the cage. I had fallen asleep, but like it couldn't have been more than like 2.5 hours. Oh God, yeah, like I was really upset, but we kept seeing him. That was the one thing that, like, it had been several days, but then like poof, he'd show up. So hard to lose hope when he would pop in and like he'd just be there for a little bit and then like another cat would run him off or something. So that's why we put the outdoor cat up.
Changed seismically.
Mandy, I kicked myself for the night that, like, because he's gone out before and then he just comes back like, you know, an hour or two later. Just leave the door open and he'll come in. And that Friday night, that's what we had done. We had just left the door open, you know, thinking he'd just come in. And I go out and I see him. And, like, I'm going up to him, and, because he's, like, meowing at me and shit. I'm like, come on, buddy. And they're, like, she had a pallet with a cinder block, like, blocking the inside. Like, there's a courtyard to the apartment here. And, like, that's where, like, the cats go out and they play outside in the courtyard. So she kind of had it blocked off so the cats couldn't get out. And when I moved the pallet, it made like a wild noise, and Smokey went running. And then, like, I'm like, God damn it, motherfucker, why didn't you let me get you? So I was like, well, I'll go back in, play some video games for an hour or two, and I'll come back out. He'll be ready to come in. Nope, didn't see him the rest of the night. I went out there, and, like, I was out there for an hour or so. I'm like, fuck, where is he? Well, he'll come back tomorrow. That's kind of what was going on, just because, like, I walked all over the like, fucking all the way down. Like, it's a very large property. I walked all the way down to try to find. He's sitting over at the litter box, but he's not actually getting in the litter box. Weirdo, you're a weirdo. Anyway, Kansas changed the midterm landscape seismically. I'm sorry, content warning, you're gonna have to look at Chuck Todd's stupid face.
Last night. And now everyone in American politics, from the White House to the State House, and every election in between, is trying to determine where this is headed next, after voters in what you might call ruby slipper red Kansas overwhelmingly cited.
I'm actually not gay, I'm pansexual. Which means I'm predominantly attracted to people on the feminine side of the spectrum. I probably had more pussy than you ever will, that's for sure. But, like, dick is yummy too. And I'm a big fan of girl dick. Girl dick is exquisite. So no, I am not gay as fuck. I hate to disappoint you. Maybe you wanted to sweep me away. You wanted to gay marriage me. Hold on, I can't see your name. Let me. Socialist Turf, what is up? Wait, Socialist Turf. Now this is not a turf safe zone around here. Socialist Turf. Just saying. 2 girls, 1 Sean. I like cum. What? Cum plays like one of my kinks too. I always want to know where do you want me to come? You want it in your mouth? You want it in your pussy? You want it in your butt? You want it on your back? Socialist Turf seems like a dumb fuck. Hey, like, I am a total free speech absolutist. Hey, dog, if you're 17, get the fuck out of here. This is clearly an adult channel, 18 plus. Nobody wants to hear your whiny bitching. Awkward. That's what I'm saying. I'm not gay as fuck. Sometimes I like to get gay as fuck. That's fun. The night I had a threesome with 2 dudes and one came in my mouth and one came in my ass, that was pretty gay, I would assume. But you know, that's a rarity, right? Maybe just a little gay, just a little gay. But like, most of the time, like I'm more over on the other side of the spectrum. It was just something I wanted to mark off of what I call my fuck it list. My fuck it list. That's what I was getting ready to say. Like, I am a free speech absolutist. However, I give the power to ban to the community and people that I trust with that power to ban. And if they decide they don't want to put up with your griefing, then see ya. See ya. Oh.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
We'll indeed see who cancels who. Thank you. Thank you. It's part of one of my stand-up routines. I call it my fuck it list. I don't know what these cats are doing over here. Okay, but yesterday, Kansas rejected removing the constitutional right to an abortion from the state constitution, shaking the very foundation of the upcoming midterm election that is just about 3 months away, that will really kick into high gear come next month.
With abortion rights advocates, striking down a proposed constitutional amendment that would have paved the way for the state legislature.
Well, see, here's the thing, is like, I like women. I don't really care too much for dudes. It's like, dick shummy sometimes. And then like I'm really into people on the feminine side of the spectrum that may not have, vaginas. So like and like I'm really into, everybody being at the party. So like, if you wanna have a party that's, get some guys, get some gals, get some people that don't conform, I'm totally cool. Let's do it. The more the merrier, and like let's have some fun. Let's think of some weird stuff to do. Oh, the gay lifestyle is totally fun. You can have a lot of fun around some gay guys until they get to acting all like, I'd say gay bars aren't fun at 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:30 in the morning. You get to when you get to closing time. Well, hell yeah, Tones. That's getting a little gay. Just a little bit. And it's okay to get a little gay for Pride Month. Nothing gay about bouncing on your boy's dick.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Nothing gay about bouncing on your boy's dick. Hey, bouncing on your boy's dick is never going to result in you needing an abortion.
To increase abortion restrictions in the state, perhaps banning abortion completely. The vote loudly confirmed hopes among Democrats that abortion could be a powerful...
Closing time.
We've been seeing clues this summer that these midterms might not be going what you might say is the normal way for a president's first midterm. There have been signs that political winds could be shifting for his party ever so slightly. We saw the increase in voter enthusiasm, a bounce in midterm polling, which was notably decoupled from Biden's sagging job approval ratings, stronger than expected fundraising, and quite a few Senate races. And then Kansas happened. Turnout last night was huge for an August primary day. In fact, it rivaled general election numbers. Unaffiliated voters turned out in huge numbers. Steve Kornacki is going to be here momentarily. We'll explain just how big that turnout was.
Hell yeah. That is very promising for this fall.
That voters were saying that they've gone too far. So what happens now? First off, we're going to see a lot of midterm messaging strategy change pretty quickly, with Democrats recalibrating their pitch to center it on freedom and reproductive rights. President Biden already held an event today on abortion access.
Yeah.
Expect a lot more of daily events like these from Democratic leaders. Take a listen.
Are they going to show it? I won't have to show it.
About what happened in Kansas last night.
In a decisive vote, in a decisive victory, voters made it clear the politicians should not interfere with the.
Now, he is working remotely because, once again, we are on
Biden dies of COVID watch.
Fundamental rights of women. And the voters of Kansas sent a powerful signal that this fall the American people will vote to preserve and protect the right and refuse to let them be ripped away by politicians. And my administration has their back.
Abortion was the big story last night, but it was not the only story. Elsewhere at the ballot box, candidates backed by Donald Trump had largely a successful night. But we did not see a Republican Party that you could call and claim is in lockstep behind him. One of Trump's impeachment...
They made his face oranger there.
...was only narrowly defeated. Arguably, the margin of victory...
Clearly CGI ripped Biden.
...with an assist from a Democratic campaign group. But the two Washington representatives, Dan Newhouse and Jamie Herrera Butler, who are also on Trump's target list, are not only running ahead of their Trump-backed opponents, but are likely, thanks to the state's unique top two system, going to be able to face a election without some Trump-backed candidate. In Arizona, Trump's
that's a jungle primary, so that's different.
Down to ballot with his one pick, Kari Lake, looking the one that's not called yet, looking like she'll emerge as the gubernatorial nominee. All of them have backed various false claims about the 2020.
Now, Mox, it does seem that they are at least extending the moratorium until after the election. They have told student loan servicers not to contact students, which they would be doing right now, and saying, get ready, your student loans are getting ready to start back. Are you ready to start making payments? Blah, blah, blah. I've already gotten those a few times during the pandemic. But they have already told servicers not to contact borrowers. So they're at least extending the moratorium by the end of August. But maybe they extend the moratorium and they cancel 10,000 at the same time in August. I mean, the Democrats are kind of on a roll right now, and like, if you're gonna do the 10,000, at least go ahead and do it before the election. The last I heard, they were worried about doing it before the election, making it seem like it was too much of a giveaway, which is fucking bullshit. And even if they do the 10,000, I feel like they're gonna means test it. It's still gonna be like 10,000 for people making under 100,000 or some shit. Yeah, the generic ballot Democrats are now like at a +3. That was flipped just a few months ago, +3 Republican generic ballot. But it's just like the candidates for the Republicans are so fucking bad, like Kari Lake.
2020 election, none of them won a majority of Republican support. They won thanks to crowded primaries. In fact, on our Meet the Press election special last night, as we were watching the returns come in live on the air, the state's sitting attorney general told me his Republican Party in Arizona is divided. Folks, the party that's more united usually has a leg up in the midterms. And after last night's results in Kansas and beyond, it's hard to argue that Republicans are the more united party. They just simply aren't.
Thanks for watching.
They certainly aren't, and they're full of nut jobs. So maybe this is good news. What is weird is that Warren says she won't back a bipartisan abortion rights bill, which seems odd to me, but I wonder if there is something, because it is a bipartisan bill, I wonder if it's too much of a giveaway, and that's why she is not supporting it. Well, let's find out. Senator Elizabeth Warren told NBC News Tuesday night she'll vote against a new bipartisan bill on federal abortion protections introduced in response to the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. The legislation, introduced Monday, would need all 50 Senate Democrats to help it meet the 60 votes needed to pass, which it certainly won't get. The bill introduced on Monday is designed to enact in federal law the essential holdings of Roe v. Wade and related cases, per a statement from its co-sponsors, Democratic Senators Tim Kaine and Kyrsten Sinema, and Republican Senators Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins. Warren, a longtime abortion rights advocate, told NBC News' Meet the Press, the Kaine-Collins bill does not codify Roe, so she intends to vote no. The problem here is this bill is not an obvious improvement over where we stand right now. Meanwhile, referring to the Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization decision that overturned Roe v. Wade, Kaine told NBC News on Monday night that the bipartisan legislation hadn't so far secured 60 votes, but he had a feeling that the post-Dobbs reality of 10-year-olds being smuggled across state borders could help the measure succeed. He pointed out that the bill was written before the Supreme Court's abortion ruling. Our bill is a time machine, and we take the law back to where it was the day before Dobbs, Kaine said. And not everybody loved the law, but at least it had the virtue of women had to be able to rely on it for 50 years. I think it's the flip of it's the overturning of Roe v. Wade and the Dobbs decision. But I think it's just that the Republicans are that fucking bad. You have to be a fucking nut job to support these people. Even the Texas... Now, the media is chasing that dollar and they want conflict. That's why they inflate and promote idiots. Because it's entertaining. That's why we just had fun watching Alex Jones earlier, because he's an idiot. But it has serious consequences. But like even the Texas County GOP realizes that John Cornyn is a nut job. They censured John Cornyn, a Texas County GOP, his own party, censured John Cornyn and demands immediate resignation over his gun safety vote. Senator John Cornyn of Texas, who was first elected to the U.S. Senate in 2002, has a very right-wing voting record, but in Trumpified Republican Party of 2022, it isn't uncommon for arch-conservative Republicans to be told that they aren't conservative enough. And the 70-year-old, oh shit, whoa. I didn't even think about it. Guns. They're upset with him for working with, he is a nut job, and they're upset with him for working for Democrats about guns. It's the opposite of what I thought. I thought that John Cornyn was getting censured by the GOP for being a nut job. No. They're censoring him for not being nut job enough. Well... Monday, August 1st, according to Dallas Morning News reporter Emily Caldwell, the Collin County GOP passed a resolution to censure Cornyn over actions the party believes run counter to the core principles of the Republican Party of Texas, including his work on recent federal gun violence legislation. Cornyn has long described himself as a leading defender of the U.S. Constitution's Second Amendment, and he has been very friendly with the National Rifle Association over the years, but the Collin County GOP sees it. Cornyn committed a cardinal sin when he helped advance the gun safety bill in the U.S. Senate. President Joe Biden signed the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act of 2022 into law in late June. It really doesn't mean anything at all. Wow. Touch on this real fast. Senate votes to approve NATO membership for Sweden and Finland. 7 more NATO countries must give a green light to the expansion of the alliance, which was spurred by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The 95-1 vote made the United States the 23rd of NATO's 30 members to ratify the proposed addition, which leaders in Helsinki and Stockholm began to contemplate this spring. Senate Majority Leader Charles E. Schumer called the vote a signal to Russia they cannot intimidate America or Europe. Who was the no vote? Who was the no vote? Is it not gonna tell us the no vote? It was Rand Paul, wasn't it? Oh, it's Josh Hawley. Mike Lee voted in favor. Rand Paul voted present. So interesting. Josh Hawley was the no vote for NATO membership. Now we're going to go to PragerU, which is going to tell us how we can be manly men. We need to be tough. We need to be tough. Not like the crying person from the meme.
Ever, anywhere.
What is this even from? Does anybody know? I'm sorry, Tones. I like refuting their bullshit. And remember, everything that I'm watching this on is a browser that is blocking any kind of monetization they could have off of this. So yes, I'm giving them a view, but they are not making any money off of me whatsoever. Does anybody? Oh, it was after Trump's election, after Hill Dog lost. Okay.
Trump is now president of the United States. President Obama. For the great honor to be able to introduce for the.
Well, I mean, he did go on to incite an insurrection and tried to stay in power, tried to command a coup to make himself dictator. So, was she wrong? Was she wrong to cry like that?
The first time ever anywhere the 45th.
Drake, this is after Smash Mouth played. Might as well be walking on the sun.
Complex and unpredictable. You can't change this. It's the nature of things. But you can prepare yourself for the next unwelcome surprise. How? By building resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from life's inevitable disappointments, failures, and pains. Resilience is the opposite of...
Oh, honey, you don't have to tell me about resilience, bitch.
It means that just about everything upsets you. And if just about everything upsets you, you will spend a lot of time angry and hurt. And if you spend a lot of time angry and hurt, you will...
Aren't you the one that's like upset about seeing a video of somebody just venting their emotions? Like what? Like you guys spend so much time and effort bitching about other people. It's amazing to me. Like really, you're the offended ones, PragerU.
Will not be a happy person.
For their gracious aid.
I am so sorry. To my world, I am so sorry.
Hard times get you hard, Merkin.
Get some perspective.
You live in sexual anarchy.
Assess your situation with as much objectivity as you can. How bad is this problem? Have I overstated it? Sometimes my patients think an unhappy occurrence is much more serious than it really is, usually because it's amplified by evoking a painful childhood issue. Often getting perspective is as simple as asking yourself this question: what's the worst thing that can happen? Usually you'll discover that the worst thing isn't that bad and isn't even likely to happen.
I've seen Nickelback.
There's so much potential for beauty and for devastation. In this one moment, it's almost incomprehensible that they can exist right now. So,
and we are grateful
so
to
close.
President Obama.
Toughen up. Life hits you from all...
Whiny little cowards.
Personal relationships, work challenges, family issues. To deal with them, you need to build up your mental toughness. The earlier in life one starts this process, the better. That's why parents who coddle their children and protect them from every hurt and failure are not doing them any favors. Nor are colleges that provide students with so-called safe spaces. To toughen up, you need to push yourself. How do you know what...
All of the right. Like, the right has to have, like... The right appeals to symbols and symbology and mythology. So they have to have symbols for you to hate, people to channel your anger towards to distract you from actually talking about substance. They're not capable of talking about substance.
I'm Dr. Stephen Marmer, psychiatrist, UCLA Medical School for Prager University.
They'd rather tell you everybody else are whining and playing victim, but like all they do is play victim. And constantly I'm in this make offensive memes great again group. And every single post from the idiot, like there's been some like lefties that have infiltrated that's kind of fun. But like every single right-winger that posts in that group is just like whining about something a supposed lefty or a liberal did to them, and it's hilarious to me. A way to virtue signal their lack of empathy to each other, and all they do is virtue signal. All they do is virtue signal.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Calling other people woke moralists. Jesus Christ. Did you guys, did you ban Socialist Turf? Did that happen? Because, like, I saw the name, and I'm like, this is not a turf-friendly area for you. No. No siree, Bob. I ain't into it. I ain't gonna. Are they still in here? I was wondering if somebody banned them. Because, like, my favorite thing in the world is some girl dick. That's what I thought. They seem pretty belligerent. No, nobody banned them. Okie dokie. I mean, I was just checking. All right, here I have something very special. I have something very special for your animal video tonight. I'm very excited to show this to you. It's very short. We'll watch it many, many times because it's quite possibly one of the best animal videos I've ever seen in my life. Is this a gorilla? Is this a gorilla? Is this what this is? Sliding at us. Peak TikTok. Man, I can always go back to Orgy Talk. I have, thank you, Tones. Thank you. I have thought about doing a show on Pornhub. I've thought about doing a Troll Patrol-like show where I watch porn videos and doing it on Pornhub. Why not? It seems like it'd be fun. I'll just show different porn videos I found. Like, would you get a load of this shit? I'll show you funny shit. I'll show you sexy shit. From my vast trove of bookmarked and owned porn. I know. This is my favorite fucking clip. For those of you who may be listening to this as audio, this gorilla, is it a gorilla? Am I giving it its name? I think it's a gorilla. The male gorilla. It pops out of a hole in its enclosure. And it slides across the floor like a fucking champ. And it turns ever so slowly to reveal its glorious buttocks. I mean, it's about a 5-second clip. And it seems like he knows what he's doing. Like, look at this ass right here. Oh my God, Becky. Look at his butt. This is a glorious gorilla ass. He knows he's the shit. But there are people that listen to this show as a podcast. It still trips me out, but we've got like 3 listeners every fucking episode. Listen, if you got it, flaunt it. Yes. Everyone should see this. Everyone should see that amazing gorilla ass. I think it's hay, isn't it? I don't think it's wood shavings. I think it's hay. Hay on the floor. This glorious gorilla should be in a jungle somewhere and should not be in captivity, but we don't know that it wasn't injured somehow and that it was rescued. But my God, that is an ass that any Hollywood producer would eat up. That is an ass that would be in the top 0.1% on OnlyFans. I want to slap it. I bet it's so fucking firm too. Like, goddamn. Oh, and I like that, like the kids just get out of the way. Like, let the man slide through here. Man is here. A wrestler should adopt this as his ring entrance. We have watched this gorilla show us his ass for a good 4 or 5 minutes now. And I still have not gotten tired of it. I wish I could send it to people on Facebook, but I can't because for some reason I am banned from sending messages on Facebook Messenger. You can't send messages right now. Something you sent in a chat was found to go against community standards. I didn't know they had community standards in chat because, like, I sext people and shit in chat. That gorilla can slide right into my DMs too. Right, Tones? Right? Oh, yeah. I guess Sky Comments like, yeah, all right, enough gorilla ass. Yeah, you're right. We need to wrap it up. Enough gorilla ass. But it is a glorious gorilla ass. Ooh. It is the first intellectual Dollar Tree from the new studio with Echoplex Media, and we are right on time. I don't know if HK is with producer Dave. I don't know what the lineup is for tonight. But we're going to head on over to the Intellectual Dollar Tree, which should be starting just momentarily, if it hasn't already, by the time we mosey on over there. So go ahead, light one up. Tip one back. Cicero, I'm sorry you just got here. Yeah, I've got so much work to do, but I promise you, Producer Dave will take really good care of you over on the Intellectual Dollar Tree. The first IDT from the new studio. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before we hit the sack. I'm Justin FREAKIN. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol Live.